Hello, my favorite CopperCube people. So, today we're having another episode on making your own MMORPG with CopperCube. And I believe this is episode 12, I think. Well, at least I think it's episode 12, but whatever. Whatever episode of this award-winning series. So, in this one, I will also describe what I've already done. It's been for a while. It's been a while. I mean, since I released the last episode, and it's not that I was not doing anything. I was actually working on this project a little bit, but unfortunately, I don't have that much time now. So it is how it is. Basically, what I was doing since the last time, I was working on the GUI, on the user interface. And as you can see, user interface is updated now, and it's much more beautiful than it was before. So first of all, I have this section here, which shows player health and also player mana points, player level, player name. Player name is, as you can remember, it's just randomly generated line. Level is now always level 10, just because there is no leveling system or something like that. And the other thing I reworked is chat. Basically now chat is this little thingy here, and you can actually use this slider to scroll through the chat. So now it's not only the last 5 messages. So now if you put something there, good enough, it will appear here in the chat. But if you have like more messages, uh, it is a message that doesn't fit. As you can see, it appears on the bottom, and you can actually scroll to the top so you can see more messages. And I believe it should still work for multiple players. So this is the same. So as you can see, you can check the chat as another player, and if you print something as another player, it should also say your name correctly. And also for this guy, so everything is updated. So this is one thing, and also another thing which I've added a dev state for the player. It's also sort of how to call it, a temporary solution, so it will be updated in the future. Could you please attack me somehow? What? What's weird? For some reason, everyone's dying just from one hit. What the hell? Ah, okay. Okay, we'll just figure out what is happening here because basically I think I messed up. I messed up something. I don't think that I messed up. I messed up something somewhere. So first of all, what is player damage? It's 51. What is where's monster one? So we have monster one. It's also in a mess. Once again, I made everything a mess. Ah, okay. So HP is 100 and attack power, let's say, is 51. I just messed up everything here. So I just messed up the HP and attack power configuration for the enemies. So now if you attack enemies, boom, they start an attack back. First of all, you can see your HP getting down, and if it attacks for a second time, you die, and you can't do anything in that state. Don't go anywhere, but I think you can still send the messages, which is, I think, is a feature because you can just do like they do uh, in all RPGs, just lay down and type is please revive or something like that. Anyway, also animation is a bit funky because it just falls for the ground, but it's also fine, I guess. If you press on respawn button, you'll just respawn and you can proceed. So this is the dev state for now. And now let's just go through these features and how they were implemented really quick. Let's first of all start with this little part of the GUI. From the editor point of view, I have this section here, which says GUI, just GUI under it HP folder, and you have different stuff. Player name and player level are simple 2D overlays. they have absolute position. So in case you change in the resolution, for example, if you just go to the settings and you just say that you want, let's say, can I just, okay, I'll just do it like that. Like you can just make a full screen, and on the full screen you will see that everything just became smaller, right? But it's still readable, so I thought it's okay. It's okay to do it like that. Um, that's because we have an absolute mode for these overlays, and I have everything in pixels. And this is more practical for me. I like it more that way. It's easier to develop at least. Um, Same for GUI. This is just a background. My background has a picture. Picture looks like that, so it's just a gradient from darker here to lighter here. I believe I saw it on, I don't know, I steal it from somewhere. So the whole design idea. Um, then I have an HP bar. Under HP bar, there is a black bar also. So HP is this red. It also has the same overlay on top of it. So it looks like it's like a little bit darker here, a little bit lighter here. But if we just disable it, it's just whole black thing. And this black thing is this node here. So it's the like the empty bar. It stays behind the normal bar, and in case the normal bar becomes shorter, it just shows like what's behind it. And then you have obviously just a number on top of everything. Everything has absolute pixels position. So how it works from the code point of view? From the code point of view, it's just a mess as always. First of all, let's start from the server part. I'm not quite sure if I described it before, but I think we done it in the last video, but I'm not quite sure because quite a lot of time has passed. So here in our update function, as you can remember, I'm sending player data here as a players array. And in this map function, I have two parameters, HP and also max HP. Basically, these are these two values, just normal, your current HP number, and also your maximum HP number. So for example, if I just go to player and I set like maximum HP to 120, now if I open the game, it should show me 120 instead of 100. So that's the idea. Um, on the UI, after I receive it, where is my not UI, I mean on the front end, on the client part, as I receive it, I also receive it in my get data thingy. I parse all the data and put in inside data object and put them to the state, which we use for interpolation, as it was done, I think, in video 2 or 3 or something like that. I think in the second video. And to show it on UI, I'm using this update entities method. As you remember, this is a function where it's a method where I update all the entities like players and also enemies. So I have this section regarding players here, where I have like player previous, player next state, and here I also added this little section. What it does, it just reads current player HP, because before I have this if statement here. So if one of the player elements which were stored in the array, in the states array, has ID the same as global player ID, which means that this is current player. In this case, I'm just setting text as player HP, which I get from the server, and slash player max HP. So there is no logic for mana yet, as you could tell. And I'm also changing the property of GUI HP bar, which is basically this red thingy here. So what I'm doing, I'm just changing the length. I have the default length. I already know it because it's set in absolute pixels, I think it's like 240 or something like that, but I mean, I have it set it up. I have it hard coded here. And what I'm doing, I'm just finding, I just divide my HP to max HP to get like what kind of percent, what is the percent of HP is still available for the player. And then I just multiply it on the bar length. So this is how I get the new bar length, and I just set it as a new bar length here. So pretty straightforward, I would say. I also think that this might be probably this is a good idea to have it in somewhere in a separate function, but I feel like we will need to do another refactoring after the next POC is completed anyway. So this is good enough for now. Let's just put it that way. It's good enough for now, and I'm gonna leave it as it is. So with the name, it's still the same. It works the same way, pretty much the same way as it working before. I just renamed it a bit, and also in our thing of in our part to refactor is this naming because currently everything became a little bit inconsistent here. I would like everything to be consistent again. So yeah, this is this part. This part is easy. Let's just discuss another thing, which is chat. So for chat, there are more elements here. First of all, I have this slider, which is not programmed by me. I just used just in case extension, and the text is basically. So I have like the. Let's just talk about elements of this of this UI element. So I have the chat bar, which is this little line here. It also has absolute. Everything has absolute. Almost everything has absolute positioning here. Then I have a knob, this little knob here. I have a baseline, which is basically a line of text. I know it's a fixed text line, so basically I know that there are certain amount of characters which fit there. I use that to distribute text between different lines. And also I have an input, which you can see if you press enter on the keyboard. So then you can type and then you can press enter. You can press enter again to send the message. Basically, what happens here for the slider, as I mentioned, it's not my code. I'm using an extension made by Just In Case, which is called vertical slider. Here it is. I've done a slight modification. So there is a clamp function, which I renamed to clamp2 because it was conflicting with another clamp function, which I have in my project. And also, I've added this iscursor over GUI check here, and I'm setting it to this drag property. That way, I know that if I so that way I can identify then I when I'm dragging the cursor here, and if I press on the knob, my player don't move like in this corner because this is something that would happen if I don't do that. Also, something didn't close. Let's just try it again. Once again, I have this weird issue with FPS drop. Not sure how to fix it quickly, but sometimes it just happens and it doesn't seem like it's related to anything. It will just go away by itself. But anyway, it doesn't matter right now. Okay, so for the chat, how do I show the chat? This is another sort of like not that good solution, but basically I'm using this chatbox extension. What it does, it has this logic where I'm getting the default line, this one here. I'm cloning it five times, so it just fits all the screen here. And then I'm also taking all these elements and I'm moving them to the bottom of the screen. And I'm also doing it every frame. So even if you resize the window, the chat always stays at its point on the bottom of the screen. So doesn't matter if you change in the resolution, it still works okay. And the sky is broken once again. It's also not an issue. You'll fix it, but yeah. Can you please just no? Everything is closed. Everything seems to be closed. I'm not quite sure why it's lagging so much. All right, so I'm just basically the idea is that in setup I'm just cloning this line here 5 times, so it will be 6 lines or 5 lines. I think it's 6, and then I'm just taking everything and moving it to the bottom of the screen, and it does it like here. So basically, this is a logic to set everything up, and then on update I'm getting data from client as it usually was before. So I have a special action for that, which is called poll chart. So with poll chart, I'm sorry, it just writes everything to this. I'm not quite sure why it does it writes. Actually, it doesn't matter for now. Basically, what happens, I get this the whole. Now I get everything as an object from the server. I can just show you on the server maybe. So index, there is a poll chat here somewhere. Get chat, it's called. So what I do here is I just get all the chat messages, and chat message is basically your name of the player, and then also the message, and I'm sending it as a JSON. Even though it's stringified, it's still a JSON. Then I parse it on the client, and here inside this extension, I go through all the chat lines, and I also format them. So all this stuff is related to formatting lines. Basically, what it does, in case line is longer than 46 characters, it will just move the rest of the line to the next line, or the rest of the text of this line to the next line. I'm not sure if it's clear, but basically it's just how it is. Um, so that way I'm updating the chat. Chat is the most complex thing, and it appears to be the most complex thing, and I think I might just made it sort of like in a pretty stupid way, and that's why it's so complex. And also regarding showing the chat, I have this variable chat scroll position, which I set from just in cases extension. So this is the slider. I set it as chat scroll position. It could be from 0 to -100, and I'm just getting the value here. I find current scroll value as a percent. Basically, it's a percent value of from 0 to. I'm actually not sure why I didn't just. Okay, it just doesn't matter. I could just probably set it from 0 to -1, and it should work. But whatever, it works and it's fine. And then I'm using the following logic to just show the lines which I need. So that way the chat scrolling works. I think I can't describe it well because I mean, to be honest, it's pretty complex logic for such simple element, but just it just works. If you want to figure out it better, probably you can just check the code, maybe modify something yourself. Maybe that way you can figure out it, because I don't think I can explain it better. And yeah, this is the GUI updated, and the next thing is this little death thing. It's also pretty simple. So currently, if you, oh my God, it's so laggy, 19 FPS. I don't know what to do with it. So if the enemy attacks you, oh, I killed him before he attacked. First of all, you receive damage, and your HP is going down. All of this is calculated on the server side. And okay, he just lost interest in me. Next guy. So if he attacks me again, if another guy attacks me again, HP is getting uh, less than 0, and player dies. So everything is basically happens on the server. I only have this dead on respawn button here, and dead in 4 and dead in 4 label visible. Where is visible? Here it is. So it only shows when player is dead, and I identify if player is dead or not on the server side. So here inside player, I have this function which is called deal damage. Maybe it's not a good naming because it deals damage to current player basically. And what we have here is we decreasing the damage which is done from current HP. If HP is less than 0, when we set HP to 0 back. If it's not, if it's like less or equals to 0, it could be just equal here, but I just left it as it is. I set player to the dead state. And the dead state is also pretty simple. It's described here. So it has dead on enter function, which just plays animation, and it also sets player property is dead to true. This property is also sent to the client here in our update function. So if you just check this like player data mapping, you can see that this is dead as property is set the same way as I set, for example, HP or max HP or any other positional properties. And on the client, in case I receive this property, what I'm doing here, basically I'm setting this variable is local player dead, and I'm setting it in the same place they are set HP bar, so right below it. So if local player is dead, I set this variable to true, and I do return here inside on mouse event. So in case you press left click, nothing is happening. This block is never executed in case you're dead. You can still rotate the mouse. Oh, I mean rotate the camera, but there is no way for you to perform any actions because your player is dead, basically. And I'm also showing GUI here inside GUI reset action. So I'm just setting this GUI is dead in for label to the same property what is local player dead has. So for example, if it's true, if player is dead, then I'm showing this dead in for element. If it's false, I'm not showing it. Um, it also executed every frame, so this section it just resets the whole GUI thing. And also there is revive button, and it's a child of dead info, so I don't have to set it to visible individually. I'm just setting the parent to visible, which is dead info overlay. And dead on respawn, it has a property then clicked, and here I have like my little revive function. Not function, I mean little revive action. This revive action is also super that simple. So if you just go here, and as you can see what it does, it just sends a command to endpoint called revive, and it has only one property, which is ID. And it doesn't do anything with data because it barely gets any data. And on the server side, I also have updated the endpoint. So now I also have this revive endpoint right here. What happens is it just gets the ID from query. So the one which I set here, equal to global player ID, and then I'm calling a revive method of player class, which basically resets the player. So it sets, in case player is dead, it resets HP to max HP. It sets this is dead property to false, and also it sets player state to standing. Basically, it just resets the player state to the initial state. So why is it still lagging? It's so annoying. I don't know what to do with it. So if enemy hits me once, it will be 49. Hits me a second time. What is happening now? I'm just pressing respawn, which calls this server endpoint, and as you can see, not here, it just says that player respawns. So it's the same output um, as I have here in my revive endpoint. So player responds. Um, Maybe this is not a good video, to be honest. I'm a bit in a rush today, once again. But this guys just to let you know that I'm still working on the project and there is still some progress. I think I think that might be it. for this one, I'll just upload the files, and I also might, oh, now it's not logging anymore. And I will also update the remote version. Nope, I will not update the remote version yet. There's also one thing which I really want to do for this PLC, which is changing the scene. So you can also go to town. That would be really cool to add, but I'm not quite sure when I will be able to present it. But probably I'll just do this thing with town, and then I'll just update everything. What would be really cool to have. But anyway, we'll just see how it goes. Because town also means that I need to create the whole scene, basically create the whole collision stuff, which is a little bit time consuming. But anyway, this is it for now. Thanks for liking it, subscribing. Thanks for staying with me, because I know that a lot of these videos, they actually could be pretty confusing, but I hope you can figure out stuff from the code. And if something is not clear, just let me know. I'll try to answer in comments or inside the corresponding thread on CopperCube forum. Right, that's it for today. Take care.